I'm going to read you one more short chapter. Chapter 35. Okay. After the great storm, Ma and Ba worried that vast damage had been done to the village. Now, look at how interesting this is. They skipped again to the storm in Ma and Ba's village. And that's interesting because right in the last chapter, there had been talking about the storm raining down these seeds, right? So it's like Gracelyn is like weaving this story back and forth together like really closely now, right? Okay. After the great storm, Ma and Ba worried that vast damage had been done to the village. And when the sun shone in the morning, the village looked as if it were in ruins. Large tree branches had fallen, and a clutter of leaves and roof tiles, and dust and dirt littered the ground. Yet when the villagers began to clean, they saw the storm had not harmed them as much as they had feared. At least no homes were destroyed, the villagers said to each other, and we know everyone is safe. Well, everyone except for Min Li, they added silently. Ma and Ba said nothing when their neighbors paused awkwardly. They helped pick up the broken branches, swept broken bits of pottery and tiles from the street, and nailed shutters. At night, they quietly sat together at the table with the goldfish. Though Ma had heard nothing, Ba remembered the fish's words about the fear in the wind. It filled him with worry, and he waited for the fish to speak again. However, it remained oddly silent. I'm going to just ask you to really stretch right now, though. This is like a question for like an adult reader, right? Which is, why do you think that the goldfish is staying oddly silent? That is a hard one, but think about it for a second. I'm actually not going to give you the answer to that because there's a few ways to think about it, but think about it. Okay. Finally, when Ma was busy helping a neighbor, Ba tried to question the fish. During the storm, you said there was fear in the wind, Ba said to the fish. Whose fear was it? Was it Min Li's? Was she afraid of something? The fish stared at Ba with its round eyes and made no sound. Please tell me, Ba said, his hands around the bowl. The fish swam noiselessly in the water. Ba was puzzled. Had the fish stopped speaking, or was he now unable to understand? Or perhaps the fish had never spoken and it had all been his imagination. Ba placed his ear close to the water. Was that faint bubbling a whisper? He strained closer, his ear beginning to dip into the water. What are you doing? Ma asked as she came into the room. Ba jerked his head up, his ear dripping with water. Nothing, he said sheepishly. Were you cleaning your ear in the fishbowl? Ma said, slightly appalled. Not exactly, Ba said awkwardly. A cross look streaked across Ma's face, but as she looked at Ba, rubbing his ear, shamefacedly, she did something she hadn't done in years. She laughed. You look so silly. If Min Li were here now, Ma said, she would laugh at you. Yes, she would, Ba said, and he too began to laugh. She would laugh until she cried. Their laughter intertwined, but when they looked at each other, they could see the tears forming were not from joy. Now, I'm going to stop there and say that Ma and Ba, again, they've had some transformation, they've had some change, because we know in a good novel, characters change, right? And I'm going to ask you to think about how they have changed and how they haven't changed. So pause this right now and then we'll talk about it. So if you're back, if you pause it or if you didn't pause it, here's my guess. They have changed in some ways, right? Because look, they're laughing. All they have been is terrified and worried, and they haven't been able to laugh at all. And I feel like kind of those words of the goldfish man are finally settling in, which is just like they're starting to get used to the trusting process, right? Like she's going to come back or she won't, but like we have to trust what's going to happen. And then they haven't because they're still sad, right? It says right here at the end, they could see the tears forming were not from joy, right? Because I think as soon as they started laughing, they realized how very much they still missed Minli. That would be my guess. What did you say? Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I'll read some more tomorrow. Oh, do you like my Stand Together shirt? Do you think this is a good shirt for today? I think tomorrow I'm gonna tell you some more about standing together with us, with our neighbors, with our community. And I'll see you tomorrow.